Welcome to 3-Minute History with Mr. Ma. Quick summaries about a range of different history topics. Today we're going to be looking at an issue that had an impact on changing the shape of Scotland, and that was that of Lithuanian immigration to Scotland in the 1800s and 1900s. Lithuanians had lots of reasons for leaving their homeland. One of these was that Russia had control of Lithuania and was imposing the policy of Russification. This meant that Lithuanians were denied the right to live their lives as they saw fit. They couldn't properly use their own language, follow their own religion, and they were also to take actions such as joining the Russian army, which many did not want to do. Religious Lithuanians, particularly Catholics and Jews, were often persecuted as part of this, and many other Lithuanians lived in poverty as well as being forced to pay high taxes to the Russian Empire. As such, large numbers of them wanted to move. For most of them, their destination of choice was the United States. Many of the Lithuanians that came to Scotland did not intend to stay here for a long time and were instead simply hoping to make enough money that they could then make the journey to America. When Lithuanians did come to Scotland, they were largely split into two groups, Jews and Catholics. Jewish Lithuanians largely headed for Scotland's cities, particularly Glasgow. Catholic Lithuanians, on the other hand, were spread more widely. They tended to go to areas where there was lots of heavy industry jobs, and this included places such as Ayrshire, Lanarkshire and West Lothian. The population in Scotland of Lithuanians was never huge, and declined particularly after World War I, with many leaving when they were given a choice of being forced to go back and join the Russian army and fight. When in Scotland, again there was a divide between the Jewish and the Catholic Lithuanians. Jewish Lithuanians who lived in cities very often tended to set up their own business. This included jobs such as tailoring and in the tobacco trade as well. Catholic Lithuanians, on the other hand, tended to work in some of the heavy industry jobs. This included mines and metalworks, and it wasn't simply male Lithuanians did this, many women were involved in the mining trade as well. Scottish companies, in fact, would recruit in Lithuania and encourage workers to come here. Other Lithuanians were involved in farming and found jobs in farm works around Scotland. When the Lithuanians came to Scotland, they continued in many cases to keep their identity, which in some places had been the reason they'd left Lithuania in the first place. They very often spoke Lithuanian in their own communities, there were Lithuanian language newspapers established, and many Lithuanian businesses were set up such as shops, and other Lithuanians were encouraged to use these. Many Lithuanians also set up their own social groups, and these would arrange events such as dances and football. And of course Jewish and Catholic Lithuanians continued to practice their own religion, often setting up churches or synagogues to do so. It is worth noting though that some Lithuanians did take steps to try and blend in more into Scottish society. This included in some cases not speaking the Lithuanian language, or even changing Lithuanian sounding names to more Scottish sounding names.